right, we'll go ahead and get started. Guys, thank you as always for being here for our weekly press conference. It's Thursday, and this Saturday we'll be going down to Seguin, Texas to take on TLU at 1 p.m. We're excited for that one. It should be an exciting game. Introducing who we have with us today, obviously, as every week we have Coach Jordan Neal, and then to my immediate right, we have Dan Hernandez, the offensive lineman, and then on the other side, we have Devin Nixon, the defensive lineman. Devin's a junior, and we got a senior right here. All right, we'll start with Coach, and we'll have questions after.
Thanks, Mike. As always, it's good to be back and excited about the way the guys played last week. It was a huge win for us against Austin College. We were happy to get the result that we wanted in the homecoming win there in front of a great crowd and a lot of people involved. So it was awesome to have that, and we're excited about the opportunity to travel. This will be our first overnight trip to Seguin to take on Texas Lutheran, and we'll be ready.
How important is it to now take what you guys did last week, take it on the road with you, and try and get that first road win of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. We just talked to the team yesterday about the importance of going and getting a road victory, and I'm excited about it because it is an overnight trip, and we haven't had one of those yet this season. Of course, we traveled across town to Hardin-Simmons was one of our away games, and then we took a day trip that was a fun-filled trip to Marshall for a night game with a flat tire and so forth. So I'm excited about being able to leave on Friday, get our guys away from any distractions, just us, our staff and our personnel and our players. That's always a fun and exciting deal. We've got some fun activities that'll be planned along the way, but to be able to get them in the hotel and focus in on meetings, I think it allows for us to be more prepared and to even be more mentally focused than we would be otherwise, even if it was a home game. So it should be a lot of fun. We know that Texas Lutheran is much better than their record shows. They're extremely well coached. Coach Mott, their head coach, is an alum. He was a part of a couple of national title teams, back in the 70s there. He was a very successful high school coach and has been, he's been awesome as their defensive coordinator the last couple of years since he's kind of come into the college ranks. And so we just know that they're not going to lay down. And even though they have struggled and even though they've come out on the wrong end of some games, they've had some close ball games against some good teams. And so we expect to have our hands full. But to get that confidence-building win that we sought last week, to be able to score points like that, and to be able to keep them at bay defensively and play well on that side of the ball and create some turnovers, that was huge for us. But like I said right after the game, we don't want to sound arrogant or overconfident or anything like that, but we still don't feel like we've played to our capability. But what we have done is we've taken care of the football. That's three ball games in a row where we haven't turned it over, and we've won the turnover margin because we've been able to take it away from them on defense. And whenever you throw in a couple of special teams scores like we've had, or a defensive score, you really start to feel your team coming together. So we need that kind of effort against these guys on Saturday, and our theme has been make it happen. Just because we had a good ball game last week and we got the result that we wanted doesn't mean that it's just going to happen for us. We have to focus on doing what it takes to actually get it done. So I'm happy with our guys and the way that they've practiced. Coaches have stayed on them hard all week, and I expect them to come out and play with great enthusiasm and great effort and put a good product on the field.
Defense plays really well, and even had a couple of turnovers and scores. And defense has played really well. I'm sorry,
he's pretty defensive.
I'm sorry. Sorry, but what have you seen the last few weeks that have really made things gel and come together?
Well, we've been getting more together as a defense as a whole, doing more team bonding, stuff like that, growing, getting the chemistry there, and just flying around during practice, turning up, and doing what we got to do.
Enthusiasm.
And,
Winning builds
it's contagious. Yeah.
I mean, we don't really have the victories under our belt, but we're right there on the edge. We're close. We're in every game. It's just a little more push, and we're there.
We'll get it.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, Devin is one of the standard bearers as far as just how hard he plays. It's really contagious, you know, and you know, he plays through the whistle, and I think other guys feed off that energy, you know, and you see us getting more confident on defense, and it really is a product of you know bonding together as a team. You know, these guys condition hard after practice together every day. They do extra work. They hit it hard in the gym. You know, we're much stronger, much more explosive, got a lot more knockback power on the defensive side than we've ever had. And I think we're healthier than we've been, too. You know, it hurt to lose Brendan Torrance at the very beginning of the game with the targeting call. They upheld that at halftime. Unfortunate, you know, he should have been a little bit more under control, but that's just a guy playing hard. You know, playing a lot like this guy does and others on the team. So it's been fun to see those guys grow, and I think they're going to put another good effort out there on Saturday.
How much does that help, Devin, to know that, you know, I know you had a little nick, I forgot which game you had to leave, but the fact that in essence the defense has stayed pretty healthy so far this year?
It's helped a lot, especially with the past years not having the depth. This year, if we do have injuries, we've got the depth to recover. It's helped a lot. Staying healthy, just in general.
And Coach, your follow-up on that also offensively. I know you had
Yeah.
Luna, but
Yeah.
Weibel has stepped up. But
Yeah, Dexter's been the biggest, you know, answer to you know, kind of an open-ended question there. You know, it was, but even before Richie got hurt, you know, both Dexter and Richie were both doing good things offensively, and we felt like each of them had different ways that they could make us effective. And you know, it hurts to lose any player. But like Devin was talking about on defense, I mean, whenever Torrance went down, Cooper Collins, a freshman safety that kind of jumped in there, and he had an excellent ball game. You know, he made a couple of freshman mistakes and it was out of position a couple times, but by and large, it didn't leave a gaping hole. You know, you lose some production there because your starter is a starter for a reason. You know, and you see that on offense. But yeah, I've been happy with the way Dexter has stepped up. You know, D-Rob's been a little bit banged up. He hasn't been able to really uncork it like he's used to. And having Cam right there, you know, being productive with what he's done, and then Aeneas Gray, he banged up his shoulder, so he may be limited or maybe out. But you know, same thing on the offense. The offensive line are the ones that really like. We're always thin in terms of the number of bodies, but at the same time, we feel like if somebody goes down or somebody loses their helmet, we had several guys that their helmet pops off in the game, and yeah, that can be pretty concerning whenever it's your center too, because your center, you know, the snap and the snap count is so important, and he's the guy that's communicated down both sides of the line. You know, and that happened once. You know, it happened to him a couple times, and then Dan Zarzosa, the other Dan, his helmet pops off, and Justin Jones, freshman, who works hard every day in practice, was ready to step in there, gave a good snap, made a good block. He was right back off the field, but you know, instead of going, hey, we need to call a timeout here to get this guy back on the field, we feel like we've got some depth to kind of take care of those matters at this point.
Daniel, talking about the offensive line and the fact was that last week, 5 or 6 guys running the ball, all gained positive yardage, the distribution of the ball by the quarterback. You got Weibel had time all afternoon long. So talk about the play the offensive line plays.
Yeah, it's really nice to see it all come together finally. I feel like we have a veteran O-line. We have all returners, so that's really good. We're all clicking. I wouldn't say on all cylinders, but we're getting to that point. We're getting to that point in the season, and it's always nice seeing like the production after the game. Even at halftime, I remember asking Coach Johnny Garcia where we're at rushing yards. We're at 140, 138. So that's always great to see, and seeing the great protection always. It's just it gets us our motors going even that much more. So just seeing it all come together.
Yeah, but really the only kind of blemish on the O-line record, if you will, from a stat perspective, was the 2 sacks. But both of them, he had great protection, and you know, he just got to get rid of the ball. You know, Dexter's trying to make a play, and that can be a blessing and a curse for a good athletic quarterback. You know, he's thinking, man, if the coverage is there, you know, I'm going to try to scramble around, and I'm going to try to make a big play, or I'm going to go run for whatever. And that's what happened on both of those plays. That wasn't a protection breakdown or them getting through. That was just him trying to make a play, and he ends up getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, I'll echo the same thing Daniel said. It was great. I mean, we had 240 yards rushing to get the ball handed off to 5 different guys, and you saw 8 different receivers catch the ball. I mean, those are all huge positives that they have their origin, and they come from superior offensive line play. That's what you saw.
How much stock do you put in? You guys are going for your 3rd win. Will be the most since 2016. Going for back-to-back wins, first time since 2016. Do you like maybe noting the fact that, hey, we're doing stuff that hasn't been done in a long time? Or do you like to maybe put that in the past and say, look, we're doing something new and different and starting our own thing?
Maybe I'm wired a little bit differently than some coaches. You hear people say all the time, well, we're just trying to be 1-0 this week. And yeah, every game, every week is a one-game season, if you will. And I even commented after the ball game on Saturday that we've taken as a motivator and as a perspective that let's just treat them like playoff games. They're must-win games. There's no tomorrow. It's refuse to lose, and I like that. But I think it'd be foolish to not recognize the fact that we're on the doorstep and we're on the cusp of doing some things that haven't been done in a while, and we need to celebrate that. The kids need to understand that it matters and it is important that, hey, this would be a winning streak. I've been really praising the offensive guys about the streak that we have going of, hey, that's 3 ball games in a row where we haven't turned it over. We do that in practice every day too. We challenge the receivers. If 4 guys are going on a rep and we complete all 4, hey, we're 4 for 4. Now let's go be 8 for 8. Now let's go be 12 for 12. Now let's go be 16 for 16. And I think that motivates your kids, and I think that you take great pride in those kinds of things. Heck, same thing can be said defensively now, and the same thing can be said special teams wise. Scored twice in the kicking game, other than field goal or extra point. And we've got 2 scores on defense, and we've had multiple games in a row where we've gotten multiple turnovers. And man, I think that those things build pride. We don't pin those up as the goal. I mean, the goal is to go do what it takes to win that ball game. But I think that those are all things that your kids can hang their hat on, and you can really build confidence. And it's a good rubric, and it's a good gauge of how far we've come and how much we really have improved. And when you recognize that, you don't be complacent and rest on that. That's why the theme was make it happen this week. But at the same time, you want to recognize that you've done some things the right way, and if the process of doing what it took to get there, if you duplicate that and you build upon that, chances are you're going to have a chance to go do it again the next time you step out on the field. So I know that's a long answer to a simple question, but you know me.
Daniel, what's it like as a senior? You came in and now you're seeing this program hopefully turning the corner. What's it like to be part of that group that laid the foundation for hopefully what will be a better McMurry program going forward?
It definitely feels great, I would say. And even being a transfer like I am, transferred here in 2019, Coach Neal's first year too. And it just, building from that year where we all know how it went, but it just feels great just building on it just every year constantly. So I would say it's giving us all a whole bunch of confidence.
While we're on it, Daniel, talk about, just kind of share with us, because you transferred, but you weren't playing football. So originally coming out of high school, going to college, you made the decision to just kind of focus on college for a year or two. And then coming to McMurry, you decided to come back to football. Talk about what that's been like for you.
In the beginning, it was a bit of a challenge, obviously, not being in football for 2 years, a little out of shape, but no, just I was being recruited here in 2017, decided to go to community college route, didn't play football, going through some tough times, and then I decided to reach out to Coach Neal and apply at McMurry, and I got accepted. That's when I reached out. Still wanted me, and here I am.
Did you miss it while you were in community college?
I did, yes, definitely, a whole bunch.
Yeah, I'm really proud of this guy. He's kind of an elder statesman. in the program. The guys all have a fun nickname for him, which I won't repeat. But yeah, little known fact, he does have another year of eligibility, and he's on the top of our recruiting board for next year. But yeah, this guy right here, his body has changed, his game has changed. You know, he was kind of behind Juan. I couldn't think of Juan, who started every game. You know, I know he had a knee injury, but so he kind of came in, but then he was ready to step in whenever Juan was injured in certain situations in 2019, and man, he's really grown and has become a leader on our group and with the offensive line, and just couldn't be more happy and thrilled that he's with us.
Devin, while we're talking about recruiting stories, let's talk about yours. You came from Binder High School, a small high school, which I know you're really proud of this season because they're having a good year, but talk about what it was like for you to be part of that team and to get noticed by McMurray coming here, and just how proud you are to be from where you are.
Well, my senior year didn't really go as planned in high school. We didn't really have the season we wanted, but coming to McMurray, really, out of high school, I was the only kid to get recruited, and it's just we're not heavily recruited down there. And this year they've gone 6-0, so hopefully I'll recruit some more Binder kids. But
we will.
McMurray really has helped me out, just academic. I love the atmosphere here, everything about it.
Yeah, well, I got you. Coach alluded to earlier how the special teams are starting to find more ways to score other than field goals, and so is the defense. And you were one of those. You scored a defensive touchdown on the very first drive against ETBU. What's it like to score a touchdown?
I saw the ball pop out, and I just thought, don't drop it and don't get caught. I looked over, that offensive lineman had a full head of steam headed towards me, and I just had to book it for the end zone. But really, that was all Josh and Jalen that made that one happen. I was just right place, right time.
And then, Coach, just looking at the game, you kind of talked about, the Bulldogs are better than what their record says. Just what have you seen from them, and what do you guys kind of need to do? Obviously, focusing on yourselves, but also finding those tweaks and those little things to either stop them or be effective against their defense.
Yeah, I think, and I'm very proud to say that I was an assistant at Texas Lutheran back in 2012, coaching offensive line there, and at that time, that program was in a very similar place to, I think, kind of where we are right now. It was in a building phase, but you could tell things were getting better and so forth, and I learned a tremendous amount. And one of the things that I saw firsthand there, and it's kind of the way our season, we went 5-5. It wasn't the year that I was there, but what I saw us do when I was there was that we got better throughout the course of the entire season. And I feel like typically you're going to see, you don't want to face Texas Lutheran late in the season because they always get better. And that's kind of what I've been warning our guys about. Yeah, they've come out on the short end a couple times early in the season, but they're a proud program. They will stay on it. They will continue to play hard, and they will get better. I just expect them to play a really good ball game against us. When you look at their personnel, I mean, it starts with their quarterback. The Cosme kid is really, really tough. He runs and throws equally well. He's got a couple of targets that he likes, got a tight end and another good receiver who's a bigger body that they like to find ways to get in the ball. And then they've got two outstanding backs that are big, strong guys that are experienced players. Their production is pretty equal, so you can't really zero in on any one thing. They run option stuff, they play action, and they're going to try to keep you honest and make you play fundamentally sound on the defensive side. I was actually taking some reps, scout team quarterback yesterday, reading this guy on some zone read. He didn't give me the read that I wanted, but he missed his opportunity to tackle the coach. It was thud though. So offensively, they're pretty salty. Defensively, they're young, and again, it sounds redundant, but I think that they've found more of their identity defensively at this point than maybe when they played Howard Payne in the first ball game of the season. Coach Mott, their head coach, is a defensive guy, so he puts a high premium on that. He's not calling the defense anymore, so I think there was maybe some learning curve early with their new defensive coordinator doing it under his scheme, and I think you see them getting more confident, and you see them being able to get a line more, properly and more sound. They got some quick defensive linemen. They give a lot of different looks up front that can be a little bit challenging to pick up. And they got some pretty productive guys at safety and a young corner, freshman corner who's a 6'3" kid who I think is really good in coverage. So it's not going to be easy. We're going to have to really play hard and play well, and they're good in the kicking game too. The Ocampo kid, their kicker, is a preseason All-American, and he's pretty automatic. So he'll be good on kickoffs and punts and all that kind of stuff as well. So tough opponent for sure, and on the road.
Coach, with a lot of these teams, it seems like you've either coached there or been there before, and now even at McMurry, this is our third trip to Seguin. How familiar are you now, I guess, with that stadium and anything that comes with that, and just their game day experience? I'm sure it's.
Well, I'll tell you this, and yes, we've been there. This will be the third time that we've been there. Of course, Saul Ross will be the third time that they come to us next week. And, the schedule worked itself out. Everybody has that team, and this is that team for us. But I've been to Seguin, been to TLU probably a dozen or more times, and I'm more surprised when it doesn't rain cats and dogs. So if it's a nice weather day, which it's looking like it's going to, keep your fingers crossed. It's usually raining, and it makes it tough. But I think it'll be a good day for football. Our guys are familiar with that place, and I like the fact that we'll be on the road, and I think our focus level is going to be really, really high. And I think our guys' attitude is, anything less than a dominant performance and a W would be a major disappointment. And I think the guys deserve to have that expectation level at this point. And again, they know that they're going to have to go make it happen.
Didn't y'all go down there in the spring?
Mm-hmm.
And as you hung with them throughout, midway through the third quarter,
Yep.
when it finally got away, but.
Yeah, I don't think we were winning at halftime, but I think it was 24-21 at halftime, and it remained close there midway through the third quarter, and then they kind of outlasted us towards the end, and we struggled offensively to put the ball in the end zone. But yeah, I think, again, it's not just a natural progression that you can assume, but we went from, getting throttled by those guys in the last game of the season in 2019 when they had one of their better teams that they've ever had, to, we closed the gap a little bit in the spring. We felt like we were really competitive. Our guys were not afraid to go out there and mix it up. And I'm expecting us to take another jump in productivity, and I think the matchup is really favorable. I'm very, very excited about seeing our defensive line getting after these guys, because I think we're much, much better up front and deeper and all the things that we talked about.
That actually leads into my next question for you, Devin. We every time we have a defensive guy here, we talk a lot about how the defense has improved over the last 3 years, and you've been a part of it all. So just talk about what you've seen over the last 3 years, what it's like to play in this scheme, and just how you feel about where the defense is now.
I feel like when we first got here, it was players were more trying to get their stats up and trying to make it about themselves. But over the years, we've slowly started to home in on more of, hey, this is what we got to do. Let's be a team player, and let's go win, no matter what it takes. Don't make it about me, make it about winning for the team.
Yeah, you can see that a lot. And, this just came to my memory in the ball game last year. This guy had an awesome, sack, where we recovered a fumble and just made a great play. And I remember that play being one of the first real, explosive plays that we had on defense. Whereas they were very hard to come by in that first season when we were all freshmen or majority freshmen and you saw us do that and show flashes in that ball game of really being physical, really being violent at the point of attack, and creating a big turnover like that. And yeah, it goes right along with what he's saying. I think our guys have really bought in to the concept of playing team ball. And I would even add to that and say our offense has learned that, hey, when they go get the ball back for us, it's our job to go reward them and put it back in the end zone. Or whenever we're driving offensively, if we don't score, hey, let's flip the field so that our defense can play with a lot of grass behind them. And when you add the special teams component into that, I think that makes us a much more competitive team.
Hey, Dan, I like to ask this question to every offensive lineman we have. I think you're the third or fourth one we've had. Offensive line getting a lot of love this year. So, and rightfully so, because you guys have been great. 4 seniors and a sophomore, a lot of experience this year. You guys have been together a long time, as you've already kind of talked about. But just what's it been like for you to play with these guys, to have the experience that you have, and to have the year that you're having so far?
It definitely feels great. I mean, just like I said, we didn't have a lot of experience. Like you said, we have a lot of experience. So, I mean, Coach always talks about, we want to be verbal with our calls. We're double teaming to this guy, but it's all the more better just, you don't even have to say anything. You know who you're working to. Like, if this guy comes down, I'm going to take him. You don't have to say anything. So, I think definitely that chemistry along the O-line has come a long way.
Anything else from you guys?
Thank you.
Awesome. All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
What are you guys' majors? I always like to know.
Psychology.
General business, but I'm gonna be a game warden.
Oh, that's good.
Which high school, where are you from again?
Viter